Hi everyone, my name is Manas and I'll be going through what I did in our project. It's called Sentiment Analysis using Social Media Data, and this was done for USD Software India, and they specifically wanted data from Twitter, and you give them a keyword and they wanted to track that keyword and analyze the sentiment behind it. So let's look at what it is used for. So social media monitoring, you can see it can tell you about your customers, specifically like if you have a product, you can track the product name as a query, and then it can find out every tweet that has information about a product and whether people like it or they don't like it. And then there is political campaigns. So you know anyone can use it. Basically, you type out a party name or some common trends like hashtags even that a certain party uses, and then analyze those tweets based upon what kind of sentiments you are expecting. This, however, we are not covering in this because we are doing it for country basis. We will be using spatial data for sure, but it is only on a country basis and not as granular as certain states inside a country. So it's not very useful for political campaigns in the current form. It can be modified for sure. And so in our approach, we use MongoDB to store the tweets. We used Vader for the analysis. So this is lexicon based analysis, and the reason we went for that is when we want to find out the sentiments, we want a very large amount of data to work on. And as the data size increases, if we went with some typical machine learning algorithm, it would have been very slow. And because it is lexicon based, it works fairly well and it's very quick. And then we used Dash for the actual presentation part of the algorithm. So for data collection, now the main thing with spatial analysis is that the so if you look at the Twitter search API, it already has a parameter called as geo. Okay, so there are a few parameters with the geo prefix and they all have spatial location. So but if you look here, that if we try to find the tweets which have that parameter there, we downloaded around 11,000 tweets and only 35 of them have the location parameter, and this is very low, and this is not at all efficient. Maybe by the time you are finished capturing a sufficient number of tweets, the trend has already come and gone. So what we do is we use the user location instead of the location of the tweet itself. Now obviously a person does not travel around the world at all times, so this works pretty well. But the only issue that we face here is we have to clean out these garbage values. So like Milky Way and on a plane, these are not real places, and so for that we use normal sum NLTK libraries. And now how do we actually classify these countries and how do we break up places into countries? So there is this module called PyCountry. So we make a list of all country names, and these include the 2 and 3 alpha codes as well. I'll go through why we need these 2 and 3 letter alpha codes. And yeah, so you can see many users input USA for United States of America or IN for India, and these two are both valid names, so these are supposed to work properly. This is 3 digit and 3 character, and this is 2 character. We need to make sure India, IN and IND all go to the same country. So we'll be using this as a collection name in MongoDB. So MongoDB basically has like a main name, database name. Inside the database we create collections, and their names are basically the country names. So while we use Dash to plot the data, we can always iterate through the collections one by one. And then, as I said, we clean up the location using NLTK. So there is a little code snippet here. So you can see we made a list of countries, this array, and it has all the different alpha 2, alpha 3 and normal names, and all of this we convert. And if you see, one interesting part here is we in this try and accept block, when we encounter a duplicate we skip, but we don't have any logic for this. And the reason is that MongoDB, and this is also one of the reasons why we chose MongoDB. So what MongoDB does is it actually checks the IDs as it receives the data, so it automatically skips the duplicates, which is a really nice thing, and we didn't have to write logic for it in the code. And so this is a little sneak peek of what the database actually looks like. You see, as I told you, these are all the different collections, so they are the actual countries. And so yeah, I'll run it once and show you what it looks like. So this is actually our front end. I have put in the query here, disease coronavirus, and let's say the number of tweets I want is around 20. I'm fine with retweets right now, but you might want to turn that off and then makes recent or popular. I guess I'll go with popular tweets, and then I'll click on search and store. So this is my database that I have right here. So I just refresh this, and we also chose a remote database because we wanted to synchronize our work and didn't want, like one person with their local MongoDB database write the code focused around that and everything gets messed up. So this is the database. We already got a few tweets, and you can go inside here and see, look at the tweets, and if we look at an actual tweet, it will say that there are no geo parameters, but because of the user location, we already know that we have that data, right? So now let's go ahead. And so coming to the actual presentation and sentiment analysis, and we use Dash for this because it is really easy to use and it can convert Plotly. So we learned Plotly in our previous semesters as well, in the machine learning course and deep learning as well, for the people who chose it. So what Plotly does is, what Dash does, it can convert your regular Plotly plot into something more presentable, and I'll show you the page itself in a little bit, and you can see all the different zooming and panning features that you can get with Dash, right? And we have, we can improve it quite a lot for now. This is what I did, and so you can see in our front end we can have more granular control. If I show you right now what all we have, it's still a bit much. So you can either toggle if you want streaming tweets or not, and for each of them you can choose whether you want to have retweets or not. I can show you the logic in the code for this. So this is for time, and if we go here, you can see that in streaming tweets you can type in how long to capture for. So this, I think, is a great thing, and according to your requirement, how many tweets you want, you can estimate, and how much time you want, you can put it in. And obviously you have retweets and the type of tweets. So if you want recent tweets related to very recent trends, then you can use this, or else you can go with popular or mix, for a mix of both of these. But we can add more granular control over that, which I think will be really nice. And instead of removing emoji, so we are using the normal NLTK right now, and it gets rid of the emojis. But Vader actually has options to work with emojis, so we'll try and do that in the future. Like, instead of getting rid of the emojis, we'll give it as an input to Vader as well, and we'll have to find out another way of removing the stop words. And we can implement server-side use. So if you paid attention, you see that when I go to that page, it keeps loading continuously. So all that work is actually being done on my machine, and it would be great if I could implement that queue on the server side, so it doesn't take too many resources of my own system. So yeah, that's basically it, and that's basically what I did in the UST internship related to the front and back end work, and plotting the globe graph, which I will show you here. So you can see this is the projection of the earth, and I'll go through this really quickly. So this is the actual projection. You can see we use GeoJSON files to render this. So you have this info with it, so it shows you the country code, and that's also where the 3-digit code comes into play. So we have these 3-digit codes here, Kenya, Cuba, and everything, and what we do is we map them to the country name and then plot them on this globe graph. And so you can see this becomes really easy, and because you have spatial data, and you can see the number of tweets in the country name and everything. So yeah, that was basically my role, this front end and this globe to represent the spatial data in a better way. So yeah, that's it.